Hello. So today I was going to do a fan fiction. We all know those are lovely, and they of a Doctor Who. A lot of people like this show. I actually have watched it for a while, and I found a fan fiction that I think you guys might enjoy. It's through the eyes of a teenage girl at a Comic-Con type thing, and she meets Matt Smith. Let's just say it could get interesting. All right, here we go. Today was going to be so exciting. I was going to meet my idol, Matt Smith. When I thought about it, I almost couldn't breathe. My heart would begin to pound at a normal rate. Me and my friend Sophie would start screaming and squealing and jumping up and down. We were officially a part of a new sub-race. Fangirls. To the extreme. In my bedroom, I had loads of posters and pictures of him. It was quite weird, too, with being 28 and all. Some people might have thought that we'd have grown up by now, but no, we still hadn't grown up. We'd exchange the hottest pictures of him on the internet, and we'd start screaming and jumping up and down at anything with the slightest bit of hotness on it. Now I've longed to have him, but knew it wouldn't happen. How I've longed to taste him. Run my fingers through his crazy but epic hair. I could dream about it, which I did, but it would never happen. Why would he choose me out of a million others who like him? But sometimes unexpected things happen. Sometimes they happen when you least expect it, or they happen when you think they're almost definitely not going to. That's what I still had to learn. Today was the day of the convention. I was going to need to dress up in my best clothing, so I had a rather tight V-neck shirt under a denim jacket. Even though I knew I could never have him, I was going to try. The brush ran through my wavy, shoulder-length blonde hair as I combed it to perfection. Smiling at my reflection, I made sure everyone was right. Everything was right. He would definitely be able to see plenty of cleavage through my very short skirt. Butt cleavage, I take it. Plenty of my legs. In my mind, I pictured him ripping off my denim jacket, tossing it to the floor, and we kissed passionately in a darkened room, just as he would throw me into the bed with pent-up desire. Then I would tear open the buttons, reach for his chest. My hand would rake through his silky blonde hair. My fingertips would trace the slight muscles of his torso. He has only slight muscles, not more than that. I snapped out of my fantasy. I knew it would never happen. No matter how much I dreamed, I could never have my dream man. Tugging slightly at the lapels of my jacket, I twirl around, looking at myself in the mirror. How much I hope he'd at least speak to me, or at least look at me for that matter. He is a man, and I kept wondering if he'd secretly checked out every girl he walked past. Well, this is getting me nowhere. I was ready for action. I had my iPhone with me, for the camera and other reasons, like in case I got lost and had to text Sophie for some reason or another. Quickly, I stuffed my DVD box set into the handbag in case I met him and wanted to get it signed. Heart pounding, I proceeded down the stairs to get into the taxi that awaited me outside. That was my heart. Sophie and I walked out alongside each other, both just as nervous and excited. We were definitely excited. Oh, you brought that out already. There were thousands of people about. The corridors were crowded and bustling with people moving back and forth to get to the different panels. We were looking for the one with Matt Smith in it, obviously, except we were having trouble finding it. After lots of walking down corridors and almost getting lost, we joined the queue for the panel. My heart was pounding so hard I swear it would escape my chest any second and be like, oh, I'm out of the chest, what's it going to do now? I mean, Matt Smith was going to be there. We were all excited to see him in the flesh and close. Oh my God, Sophie squealed excitedly as we finally let in. The queue shuffles along. Luckily, we're not very far from the front. Hopefully we'll get good seats. Finally we enter, greeted by a giant auditorium with stage at the front, seats behind. On the stage, there's a sofa for the stars, and behind, a board with various Doctor Who-related pictures on it. As the front seats fill up, Sophie and I find a seat near the catwalk in the second row. Not a bad view, since we're quite near the center of the room. We're not too far from the stage, blah, blah, blah. A man walks out, starts explaining that the panel is going to be about etc. It's not exactly how it's E-T-C-E-T-E-R-A. Is that how you spell etc.? Oh, whatever. My stomach churns with anticipation. As we wait outside the grand entrance, I'm starting to feel lightheaded. My heart drumming against my chest. My teeth begin chattering slightly. And I think Sophie's the same. I think he's coming. Sophie grins as the man walks off. The spotlight homes in on the seats. I swallow hard as everyone waits and waits. A wild cheer pierces through the silence and the first person enters. Stephen. I scream a bit too, throw my arms up in the air along Sophie. It's so surreal. After seeing him on TV, you actually get to see them with your own eyes. Matt, Karen, and Arthur should be here soon. Moffat smiles as he takes a seat on the red sofa. Soon to follow is Arthur, who provokes a big reaction of cheers. Next is Karen, who gets an even louder response. I'm guessing they're saving the best till last. And last, but certainly not least, the doctor himself, Mr. Matt Smith. Time seems to slow down at this point. He's walking slowly in slow motion. The stage starts to widen. I can almost not believe what I'm seeing, but I let out a joyful scream. Yeah! Clasping my hand to my mouth and wriggling in my seat. It's him. It's really him. He's waving to the crowd, grinning that sexy grin he takes. A seat next to Karen. Oh my God, I gasp, clasping Sophie's hand as we both start screaming together. I get out my iPhone and begin to record. It's almost the end of the panel. Everything I've seen up to this point is just unbelievable. Even I don't know how I've made it this far without passing out. But since it's near the end of the panel, that means it's question time. As usual, my mind goes blank as I frantically rack my brains for any old question I can think of. After all, I'll actually get to speak to him. I finally think of a question and praise my brain. I'm like, thank you, brain. Thank you for that question. Raising my hand. I hope he'll notice me, and he does. Smiling, he leans forward, twiddling his thumbs as he glances in my direction. Yes, darling? He called me darling. I almost melt into the ground. Will River return in the next series? I ask, biting my lip, shifting uncomfortably in my seat. He starts explaining about without giving too much away, so yeah, she will. Grinning at me one last time, he makes an attempt to turn away to look at another person, but can't seem to take his eyes off me. I still can't get over the fact that he actually spoke to me, that we made eye contact. As he's answering other questions, I can't help but notice he's glancing over at me every so often, the occasional dart out the corner of his eye. He's not looking shifty or uncomfortable, just sort of awkward. I spoke to him. He spoke to me. I whispered in Sophie's ear, even though that wasn't really a whisper, grinning madly. You're so lucky. I can't think of a question because I'm a dumb person. Sophie frowns, tucking a strand of hair beneath her ears as she looks back to Matt. So the panel goes on. People ask questions, and the stars answer them. With a final cheer and clapping round, they walk off stage. I can't help but see Matt giving me a sly wink. I almost explode with passion. Oh, exploding with passion. As we walk out, Sophie and I are squealing with glee. They squeal like pigs, like all the time. I don't know. Is this how girls walk around? There's all the time. We just saw Matt Smith in person, and he spoke to me. So here we are now. I ask as we walk in the corridor. Oh, so where are we at? Go to. I'm hungry. Let's get lunch. Then go to the next panel. I think it's got the producers, etc. I spelled terribly again, in it. I dig out the map, and we begin to head in the direction of the cafeteria. After a while, we finally reach it and order a sandwich and a drink. Sophie ends up getting chatted by some fit boy who has blonde ruffled hair and saunter off into some corner to probably flirt. She says she'll be back in a minute. So I'm left on my own, eating my sandwich on the other side of the room. I'm such a loner. Typical. She gets chatted up by a fit guy, and I'm left to no one. No fit guys are even looking in my direction. I'll probably end up with no one. No one at this dang comic. Are you kidding? She'll get him, and I'll end up trying to shoo off some buck-teeth, spotty, nerdy weirdo. Hey, maybe he's a fit buck-teeth, spotty, nerdy weirdo. How wrong was I? That looks yummy. What have you got inside it? I'm suddenly aware of the presence beside me or behind me. Because I'm looking in the opposite direction, I swiftly turn around and gasp with shock. My heart begins to drum wildly like a baton in the chest. My stomach filling with butterflies. It's Matt Smith. Oh my God. My hands go straight to my mouth. My eyes are wide as dinner plates. That's really wide. My eyes aren't even as wide as dinner plates, to be honest. I promptly drop my sandwich, the contents spilling out on the floor. Oh, sorry, he winces. Did I make you jump? Don't worry, I'll buy you another one. My hand slowly makes its way down from my mouth. Oh my God, it's you. It is, he nods, smiling and looking down at my ex-sandwich. I'm sorry about that. I'll buy you another one. No, you don't have to. But before I can protest, he's already at the counter with a new sandwich in hand. I observe him handing over some money before thanking the lady at the counter and striding back in my general direction. He hands the sandwich, grinning. There you are, good as new. I swallow hard, smiling my sweetest smile as he gives me the sandwich. Thank you. Welcome, he chirps, leaning against the wall beside me. I eat my new sandwich. I begin to wonder why he's so interested in me. But I'm not complaining. Some first date, I think to myself. Well, I guess they're already on a date because he gave her a sandwich. But shoo the thought from my mind. How is this a date? How can it be a date? At least she had thoughts. He was surely going to be friendly, apologetic gesture. What? Smiling, I break off my sandwich and hand it to him. He frowns in confusion. Have some. After all, you paid for it. I smile, and he nods, taking the piece of sandwich from me and happily eating it. Somehow his hair is distracting me terribly, and I find the concentration from eating my sandwich drifting. I also notice him taking sneaking glances at me. Leaning against the wall next to him, I smirk, finishing the last of my sandwich, chucking it in the tin box. Don't you have any panels to do? I ask him, and he turns to me. I'm on lunch break at the moment, he replies. Can go and do whatever I want. He smiles nervously, nodding in understanding. So, why did you choose to be with me? Immediately, the words have left my mouth. I begin to blush. I think he's blushing too. Oh, I don't know. I was sort of walking along and recognized you from the panel, and, don't worry, stuff. I still think there's things that he isn't telling me. What stuff? I smirk, playfully nudging him with my shoulder. The blush on his cheeks now putting Karen's hair to shame. Stuff. Just stuff. Sighing in defeat, I realize I'm never going to win. What sort of stuff? Please tell me. He's biting his lip and over. Fine, just casual question. Are you with anybody? I begin to blush as well. Why would he want to know that? Basically, I'm with my friend Sophie. Oh, good, so no boyfriend or anything? My heart begins to drum like a drum. What is he trying to ask here? Is he trying to ask me out? I start to feel quite faint as I think up a response. No boyfriend. Not for a few months now. I chuckle, thinking back to my ex, then clearing my head of him. He chuckles. I swear I see a smile on his face. Good. So, how am I going to say this? I swallow nervously, fiddling with the rim of my shirt, biting my lip. Say what? Say what? My voice is trembling as I dare to look him in the eyes. A piercing Scottish voice interrupts, I guess that's my Scottish voice, interrupts our conversation. He sighs, turning to face the direction of the voice. Out of the corridor storms a frustrated Karen, arms crossed. Matt, lunch break's over. We have to get ready for the next panel. Tickle for someone to interrupt. I frown as he stutters for a moment, nodding in Karen's direction. Yes, Kaz, I'll be there in a sec. You better be. Or... You better be, or I'll have an anger organizer to face. And with that, she strides back to the corridor. He's stuttering again, arms flailing a little bit, before he looks back at me. Look, I've got to get moving, so I'll say it with one simple action. Moving to stand in front of me, he quickly leans down and captures my lips with his. He capture them. I'm too stunned to say anything. My entire body freezes as I taste his lips on mine. Oh, she's licking them. Relishing in the feeling, it's quite short and chaste, and over far too quickly. He's beaming down at me. I look at him in shock. Room 407. Meet me there after the convention's finished. He grins, then waves, disappearing down the corridor. He's gone before I can speak, so I just stand there, jaw slightly agape, as a dumbstruck goldfish. Here comes the goldfish. Alright. Well, that was chapter 1 of that Doctor Who story. So, if you want me to read more, I'll be my guest. I can play a fangirl pretty well, eh? Alright. I'll check you later, my fans. Goodbye.